You know, it's funny how it ended too, okay? So it's funny how this series ended because so many people were claiming that the refs were biased against Montreal. That the refs were rigging games to try and, like, get Montreal out of it. Well, they in it. So either that was never the case, which is the most likely thing, or it doesn't matter if they try to rig it, because if they can't even rig it right, then they're not rigging it. You know what I mean? If they're trying to rig a game and they still can't beat you, then who cares? They're not really doing anything, you know? But my goodness, my goodness. And then you know what though? I'm telling you, before we jump all over Montreal fans, I don't want you to think that this is just a Montreal thing, okay? Because now there's like Islanders fans that have done the same thing. There's Leafs fans that continue to do it. Leafs fans of all people. I'm like, what? Guys, we really need to, like, keep this in check here. You know what I mean? Like, a conspiracy, like a rigged league, like, before you really go down a conspiracy theory, okay, the first thing you have to check is money. Money, right? Money is the root of all evil, we all like to say. There we go, right? So the first thing you gotta check is, does money even add up here? Like, does this make money at all? Now, if it does, it doesn't mean it's a conspiracy, but at least you know it's got a shot. And what I don't understand about trying to rig it so that Vegas gets in instead of Montreal is, how does that make the NHL any more money? Right? The tickets in attendance, I had people say, guys, Montreal is the third richest team in the league for a reason, okay? They generate revenue. Revenue, okay? Not Habs fans just watching the NHL in general, although that's also a byproduct. But the Habs themselves generate revenue, and then the NHL gets their cut of that. The longer that they're in it, the more money they're gonna make on that end, right? Unless it's a flat rate deal, and in that case, it just doesn't matter if they're there or not. You know what I mean? It's silliness. You're gonna make way more money overall having Montreal be in it instead of Vegas. Now, I'm not saying they're rigging it for Montreal either, because there's no guarantee that, like, people are gonna be as interested. I don't know. You never know. You gotta find out where the money's going first, right? Where does somebody stand to gain here? And I don't see a reason why the NHL would be making money rigging these games unless they're in with gamblers. But, like, come on. That's not happening in the NHL. Holy. Nobody cares that badly, you know? It's craziness, man. It's craziness, you know? And if you're not gonna go with that idea of, like, money, then think about money spent, okay? Think about the money spent you would have trying to control a league like that. You know? You got everyone at the top, obviously. You got league officials, you got referees, you got coaches, GMs, owners, you know what I mean? You got players, but then you got players in the AHL, the Russian elite leagues, the Swedish elite leagues. You got, you know what I mean? You got OHL, CHL, all those teams and everything like that, right? They all have to be in on it. In fact, pretty much when you sign up for House League, you have to already be in on it for it to work like that. And I know where this comes from, man. I know where this comes from. This comes from the fact that professional wrestling is a thing. And because we all know that for a long time that went not being known it was fake, right? To all of a sudden it being revealed, and now everyone feels like, oh, well, if they could be rigged, you know, if their outcomes can be predetermined, oh, well, then FIFA, for sure, they're doing it, and the NFL and the NBA, and everyone's doing it. No. Because the difference is, when you go to be a professional wrestler, okay, from day one, when you walk in to learn how to be a professional wrestler, if that's what you want to be in life, you already know it's rigged. You already know that you're an actor. Now, you're taking a very physical beating. I'm not putting wrestlers down at all in terms of that stuff. I don't even want to get into that debate, okay? These guys are tremendous athletes. They do incredible things, and they're putting their bodies on the line for absolutely no reason than your own entertainment. So, hey, that's respect. You know what I mean? There's no difference than any professional athlete in any other sport. The only difference is that the outcomes aren't pre-written. It saves the NHL so much money to not have to spend money keeping people quiet. You know what I mean? Pro wrestling doesn't have to do that, because from the moment you sign up to be a pro wrestler, you already know the secret. Everybody does. They always knew. They always knew. My dad used to tell me before it was out that it was rigged. That it was rigged. He used to tell me all the time. I didn't believe him because they weren't saying it, right? And I was a kid. But everybody knew, because if you wanted to find out if it was like, you know, predetermined or not, all you had to do was walk into a wrestling gym and say, hey, I want to be a wrestler. And they go right this way. Okay, you're going to learn how to take a hit from him and blah, 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 blah. They're going to put you through an absolute beating. But you knew what you were signing up for, right? So no, professional sports leagues are not like the WWE, okay? They're just not. The global resources it would take to make that be a secret costs way too much money, makes them absolutely no extra money. You want to know how the NHL always looks like it's got a story going on and how these things look predetermined? Because the media sells it, right? That's all it is. The media gets paid, they get jobs out of this, careers out of this, to look at a story of two teams facing off, something that should be pretty minuscule in the world issues of today, right? And they go, that player used to play for that team. That's the story. It's revenge. It's this or that. Oh, that player doesn't get along nicely with that player on the ice. Oh, it's going to be a clash of the Titans. And they purposely just look into it and find you a story or two and then promote the crap out of it, talking about how important this story is, right? You could take any real life sports league and make drama out of it. That's sports. It's dramatic, guys. There's storylines all the time. They happen naturally. So whether Montreal wins it, Vegas wins it, whoever else, you know, in that series, didn't matter. It didn't matter because they'll just spin the story. You know what I mean? Same with the Islanders in Tampa right now. You know, whoever comes through on them, there's a story to be had there. There's Lou Lamoriello looking for revenge on the fact that he keeps, you know, he got turned down by Toronto, sent on his way, sent packing or whatever. Started it all up in the Islanders, the place that Tavares left. So there's extra drama there. And he wants to prove that he's the boss. He's got 2-time GM of the Year award now. And if he can get himself a cup, that's a huge story too. So the media will spin that story, you know? If Tampa wins, that's all about them trying to get, you know, 2 cups now, you know, looking crazy. Or Montreal being the first Canadian team to bring it back home. And you know what I mean? And you got 2 teams that would be in the division with each other normally anyways. That's unique. The fact that now they're meeting up for a potential Stanley Cup final. You know what I mean? So trust me, guys. You can spin the stories. The stories are easy to find, okay? It's way cheaper to do that, you know, than to have to pay people to keep this whole thing a secret. So please, please, before you claim the Leafs, the Habs, anybody else, you know what I mean? The Mighty Ducks on the TV show, right? Before you want to claim anything is rigged, ask yourselves, is there money and how much do they spend? And if those 2 numbers are too far off, your theory is bogus. It's bogus. Bogus. Because above all else, these guys want to make money. Here's the other thing. If it was rigged, why would an owner ever want to own a team? If I make more money being in the playoffs or winning a cup, especially if I'm a team like Nashville, you know what I mean, Arizona, if I'm making money by being in the playoffs and maybe winning a cup and getting that reputation, why would I ever buy a team if you're just going to tell me that you get to decide who wins or not? Right? You think any owner wants to make a few less million that year because they're told by some owner, by some commissioner that like it's not their time? Come on, come on, right? So please, I'm just asking everybody, chill on the conspiracies, all right? It's not worth the money for them. Why? Just keep it as is. Right? Sometimes the obvious solution is the simple one that you don't want to admit, but there it is. It really is happening. All right? I mean, what are you guys thinking about any of this? I think I've said enough about it.